Chris Lord, back after a long hiatus of posting YouTube videos. We're on a job in Chestnut Hill. It's part of Philadelphia, but it's like a suburban area. And what we're doing here is doing some inside stuff, we're doing some outside stuff. Today I'm going to show you the outside stuff. So what we're creating here is, if you turn around, we're creating an elevated, basically walkway platform area. It's a two-tiered step slash porch. So we did this wall. This is a Wissahickon Schist stone wall. It's a stone that's locally quarried. The quarry's about a couple minutes away. It's a real popular stone in Philadelphia, and it's a whole stone veneer. What that is there's a concrete wall that we poured. It's 12 inches thick, and then right before you get to the point where you're at your grave, like the ground, the driveway in this case, you put a shelf inside of your form, so which is basically foam. So we put a thick piece of foam in, 6 inches. So we had a 6-inch shelf. So then above the ground, you have a 6-inch concrete wall. Below the ground, you have a 12-inch concrete wall. And on that shelf, we lay our stone. And all this stone really is a retaining wall. But, you know, the homeowner, they want it to look as natural as possible. And if you look at the house, you know, that's what we tried to achieve. The only difference is we did a ribbon joint at request by the homeowner, and a ribbon joint is basically just a raised joint because all the stones aren't equal sizes and shapes. So when you do the raised joint, it kind of hides a lot of the imperfections with the mortar width, size, different stone shapes, and it just gives it cleans it up, gives it a nice look. This wall's about 95% done. Just got to power wash it, clean it up, maybe a few touch-ups, and then we're going to cap it with 1.5-inch thermal bluestone. Now all this flat work, the walkway, besides a little bit of concrete we did, this is natural bluestone. This isn't thermal. The natural bluestone has a lot of color variation and different, you know, indentations in the stone. It's natural. The thermal bluestone, here's a sample. It's more, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but the top's a lot more flatter. It's torched. They torched the top. That's how they achieved that look, and the color's all consistent all the way through. We're going to use that to cap the wall, and we're also going to use it for these stone steps that we're working on. If you want to use the thermal for your step treads, just because the natural stone has like divots and like pits in there and places where water can accumulate and just sit, and winter comes, it freezes, and then you have an issue. So when you go with the thermal, that's even on the top and doesn't have any of those inconsistencies, you'll have a better result long term. Here's the bottom stone area. This bluestone is also natural, not thermal. We laid it on a concrete base and poured about 4-inch thick concrete base, and then laid the stone on a stone base and Portland cement proprietary mix. So I can't give you the actual mix ratio because it's a secret. So I made it up. So you can just think on it and maybe you'll figure it out one day. But that's what I laid this on, and it works. It's great. We just got to clean up some of the joints and make them all even. We'll do that with a grinder because, like, again, all your stones, they can be all from 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. Like if you're getting 18-inch wide by 24-inch wide stones, one might be 17 3/4 and one might be 18 1/4. So that's a big difference. So what we do is lay them as tight as we possibly can, and then after we're done, we'll come with the grinder, snap some lines, and create the nice straight joint look. So that's what we're going to do here. These concrete walls we poured to just retain the other side of the upper walkway patio area. These will get like a stucco finish on there. And then the last part of the job, these walls are also going to be where the steps rest on. So there's going to be steps that come up here, and then there's going to be a landing right around here, and like a little deck area where you could access the front door. It's going to be a hip roof on top of that with a metal roof with soldered joints, so it's like a higher end kind of roof. And all the wood is either going to be red grandis or Spanish cedar. Red grandis is like Australian eucalyptus wood, or going Spanish cedar. I think there's issues with getting Spanish cedar right now, at least the sizes we need, so we're still working that out. It's going to be octagon posts coming off the corners here and here that will go up all the way to the roof. Then we'll use that to put our ledger for the deck, and ledger into the wall, put our joists, put our decking, build our steps, and then get the roof structure on. And then that's it. So we're almost done here. We just got a little bit of this and that to do, a little bit of landscaping. Oh yeah, once we have the roof built and we know exactly where the downspout is going to go, we're going to run it down, tie it into the drain line right there that goes into the septic system. So all that's underground, not visible. What else? What else am I missing? The light post. I feel like that's makes the job like a million times better. So we can put in this light post, ran electrical line underground inside conduit, and you just have to cut the bolts flush that are sticking out, cut them flush, hit them with a little black paint so they can match, but it's a beautiful thing. It mimics like an old school gas lantern. That's what that top kind of part is, but it's an actual like electrified light. It's a nice look. And then I guess the other thing would be, a lot of people ask me, is how do you make round cuts with the diamond blade, with the demo saw? I say it's easy. So this radius right here, this is all freehand. Use something to draw your line. You look at your plan, you mark it out on the stone. Use something that's pliable that you can bend. What did we use? We used a piece of a PEX, a plumbing pipe, and then we just laid it out. We bent it to what we needed. Then we put like a rock on it every 4 or 5 feet, so it stayed. Trace the line, take a step back, look at it, see if you like it. That's what the plan is, matches what's showing on the plans. And if you like it, then you cut it. Now, the only hard part, not hard part, but part you need a good bit of experience to cut will be this part right here. Like this first little bit, the radius is so minimal and it's gradual that you can just cut that just as easy as you cut a straight line. But when you turn tight here, you gotta watch cutting it with the saw, because as you're turning with the blade, the back end is going to want to come this way, so you gotta watch that you don't cut past your line. So normally what we would do is you score your line, just cut to score it. Go like 1/8 to 1/4 inch down, and when you do that, you can kind of turn the blade and turn the saw and cut it, and then from there you start chopping out behind your mark, behind where you scored it. Get as close as you can to your scored line without going past it, and just keep chopping the material out until you get close enough to the line that you can just clean it up with a grinder. So once you get close enough to the line, you got a little bit of excess material, you just get your grinder and you just use the diamond, that 1/2 inch off the edge of the blade, and you can just rub it on there so you cut it out. And you just make sure you don't hit the, your line, and you just cut it back right to your line. Look at it. The eye test is everything, because your eye can tell you if it looks like a good radius. So you step back, you look at it, and then if you like it, you keep it. And if not, you gotta do a little more work. Like this is a little bit more of a gradual radius. I step back, I look at it. I mean, generally, I'm happy with it. There's really nothing that I would do to like I'm good with it. It's good. Maybe a little bit right here where it's sticking out like it. Nah, guess what? You just tickle it. That's it. And you just fine tune it. You cut the bulk of the material out with the big saw, and then you just fine tune it with the little one, with the grinder. And that's it. And if you notice, like that's how I like to lay the stone. I like to just lay it wider than it's calling for, instead of trying to cut it two sides and lay it like that. I'll go wider than it needs to be, and then I'll draw a line on it and cut it. Just cut it all at once. I think it's faster. It's faster getting the stone down. It just gives you a better job, because it's like edges, you're worried about like them being filled all the way. There's a dry lay patio too. This isn't laid on mortar. This is just laid on stone dust, and that's it. And if you dry lay, every one of these stones is 1.5 inches thick. You want to use 1.5 inches thick stones if you're dry laying. So that's what this is. None of them move when you walk on them. They're all solid, as if they were on mortar. But that's it. We're going to get our caps on, then the railing's going to go on top. We're going to get some landscaping in this little area right there to cover up all that nastiness. And it'll come up to the stone, so you won't see none of that concrete wall. And then that's pretty much it. In the next video, I'll take you inside. I'll show you the 2 bathrooms that we renovated that are just about finished up. And that's it. That's the end.